students, welcome back to the preparatory course for grade 11. We are in plant physiology part 3. In the previous lesson, we looked at how plant is able to absorb water, what helps the plant to absorb water, what are the forces responsible, what are the special features of roots that help it to absorb water, and so on. In today's lesson, we will also look at the next type of transport that happens in plant, that is food transport. It is not just water that gets transported, it is also food. So here we are not going in depth in the process because that is what you're going to learn in grade 11. So this is just a preparation for what you will be learning further. So as you know, plants prepare food of their own inside their cells, right? And that is why we call them as autotrophs. What kind of food do they prepare? They prepare glucose and they store it as starch, right? And for this process, or for this, they need a process called as photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means preparation. So how does a plant prepare food? Using sunlight, water, and what else does it use? It uses carbon dioxide, correct? So that's what it does. Yes, plants prepare its own food within the cells, and this is done using carbon dioxide, water, and energy from the sun. And what kind of food do they prepare? They prepare glucose, which is stored as starch. So before storing it as starch, it needs to be transported. Even when it is in the form of starch, it needs to be transported to all parts of the plant so that it gets energy, right? So how does that happen? That is one thing we will learn. We will also learn where is photosynthesis happening. Okay. So as you all know that it happens in the leaf, but where exactly in the leaf does photosynthesis happen? So when you look at the leaf, let's say this is a leaf, you tear a tiny bit and then you look at the torn part of the leaf, that is, you kind of get a cross section of the leaf, right? That is enlarged over here. So what do you see here? You see an upper epidermis, the white one, and lower epidermis. Next to the lower epidermis, you will have tiny openings called as stomata. Other than the upper and the lower epidermis, you will find that the leaf has certain cells called as mesophyll cells. Where is it labeled? It's not labeled here. Why? Because mesophyll cells are of two separate shapes. One which is more roundish, you call them as spongy mesophyll cell, and the one that is oval, you call that as palisade mesophyll cell. Both of them have chlorophyll in them. Okay. So how do they have chlorophyll in them? Because these cells, what is the name of the cell? Mesophyll. Okay, palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll. So if somebody asks where is photosynthesis happening, you should have a general idea that inside the leaf there are particular type of cells called as mesophyll cells, inside which there are organelles, right? You know, in every cell there are organelles. Like mitochondria, ER, and so on, right? We have learned it, ribosome. So many organelles we have learned. One among such an organelle is called as chloroplast. I've drawn it here. The picture is here. Okay? So inside the chloroplast, we will be learning the structure of chloroplast in detail in grade 11 later. Inside the chloroplast, you have chlorophyll pigment, right? And this chlorophyll pigment is what helps in absorbing the energy of the sun. So what all do you need for photosynthesis? You need energy to be absorbed, number one requirement. And that is done by chlorophyll. Where is chlorophyll? Inside the chloroplast. Where is chloroplast? Inside the mesophyll cell of leaf. Is that clear? I hope it is clear. What else do you need to make food? You need carbon dioxide. Where is carbon dioxide coming from? It comes from the small pores below the lower epidermis. What are these small pores called as? Stomata. From stomata, carbon dioxide is coming inside. Okay. So it absorbs carbon dioxide. What else do you need? You need water. Where do you get water from? We learned the entire process of water absorption by root, how water moves up in the plant, called as the process is called as ascent of sap. Once it moves up, it keeps on going through the xylem of the root to the xylem of the stem to the xylem of the leaf. Where is the xylem of the leaf? The xylem of the leaf is present in the vein of the leaf. So you can see that the vein is just next to the palisade and spongy mesophyll, right? Why is that? Because this water needs to move into it to help in photosynthesis. So all the three things that the plant require for photosynthesis are already given. All right. So that is how the process of photosynthesis starts. Elaborately, we need to learn it. It is not a single step process. It's a huge elaborate process which we will learn later. Now food is prepared, okay? Glucose is prepared. Where does that glucose go? It has to go to every part of the plant. And how? To a conducting tissue called as phloem. Okay, conducting tissue called phloem. Can you identify anywhere phloem here? This is one phloem. You have taken the cross section of a leaf here and a stem here. So leaf is here. Where is the phloem? Inside the vein. I told you inside the vein is xylem as well as phloem. Right? So from there, the phloem of the leaf is connected to the phloem of the stem. Okay, from there to the root and so on. So through those set of pipe-like tissue, the food will be transported to every part of the plant. I hope that is clear. In the to understand it better, I've just taken only the picture of phloem to show you how phloem looks. You can see that these are similar to xylem in the way that they are also tubular structures for transport, right? So in detail, like I said, we'll be learning later. In the upcoming session, we will learn about some concepts like water potential, turgidity, osmosis, flaccidity, plasmolysis, transpiration, and guttation. So that should end, we should end our preparatory course with that. So next one will be the last session. So keep watching, keep learning. For all your doubts, and if you need me to prepare any other concept, let me know in the comment section. Thank you.